Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Alright, in this video I'm going to be teaching how to draft a basic bodice. And these are the following equipment we need in order to draft our pattern. We need our pattern paper, we need our scissors, our marker, our tape rule, pattern master, curve rule, and we also need the following measurements. So you can see I write out our vertical measurement and horizontal measurement. So you can see in this book the vertical measurement contains the shoulder to bust line, shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip. Then our horizontal measurement contains the bust circumference, waist circumference, hip circumference, bust radius, shoulder. Okay, now let's get. Alright guys, the first thing you are going to do is to mark 1 inch from the edge of your paper. That will serve as our guide. So you mark 1 inch from the edge of your paper and you are going to turn it into an horizontal line. So you turn it into an horizontal line. Then the next thing you are going to do is to divide this paper into 2 equal parts. That is because we are going to use the right side as our center front and the left side as our center back. Okay, so as you can see, I've divided my paper into 2 equal parts. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark 1 inch from the edge of this paper. So this is actually our center back and this side is our center front. Okay, from the center back I'm going to mark 1 inch, which will serve as a zipper allowance from the edge of the paper. So if I mark it, I'm going to turn it into a vertical line. So this will serve as our zipper allowance in the center back. The next thing we are going to do now is to mark our vertical measurement. So we are marking our shoulder to waist, which is 16 inch. So we are marking it in both the center front and the center back. So once you mark it, you are going to turn it into a horizontal line. So this is our waistline at the center front and this is our waistline at the center back. So we are going to mark also our shoulder to hip, which is 24 inch in most cases. So you are also going to turn this line into an horizontal line. So we are going to extend the zipper allowance. So we are labeling this our hip line. Okay, the next thing we are going to do now is to get our shoulder measurement and also our neck circumference. So my shoulder measurement is 15 inch. My shoulder measurement is 15 inch, and in shoulder measurement we divide our shoulder measurement by 2. Okay, so 15 inch divided by 2, I have 7.5. So I'm going to measure 7.5 in the center front and 7.5 which will serve as the shoulder for the center back. Okay, I'm measuring 7.5 at the center front and I'm also measuring 7.5 at the center back. I'm starting my 7.5 from this point, not from the zip allowance, from this point. Okay, then after that we are going to place our neck circumference. So the neck circumference we are using is the standard neck circumference, which is 3 inches by 3 inches. So we're going to turn it into a box. So we are also going to the back, and we are marking 3 inch, but for the neck depth of the back we are marking 1 inch. That is the standard for neck depth of the back. So we mark 3 inch width and 1 inches depth for the back, and for the front we mark 3 inches width and 3 inches depth. Okay, now for the shoulder slant we are going to come down by 1 inch. So once we come down by 1 inch, we are going to connect our shoulder slant. In most cases you can come down by 0.75, but I think 1 inch is okay. So I'm going to move to the center back, and I'm also going to mark my 1 inch shoulder slant, and I'm also going to connect it like so. So now the next thing we are going to do is to get our armhole. Now the formula which is widely used to get the armhole is your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So in my own case, my bust is 36 divided by 6 plus 1.5. I have 7.5. So I'm going to mark 7.5 from this point. So I'm going to mark 7.5 from this point. I'm going to connect it to a straight line. So this is my 7.5, and I'm also turning it into an horizontal line. So this line now will serve as my chest line, or you can also call it upper bust line. So I'm going to do the same thing at the back. So I got 7.5 as my armhole measurement. So I'm also going to square it up and also turn it into an horizontal line. So I'm also going to label it my chest line, or the upper bust line. Okay guys, the next thing we are going to do now is to input our horizontal measurement, which is the bust circumference, waist circumference, and the hip circumference. Okay, so my bust circumference is 36. Now 36 divided by 4, I have 9 inch. So I'm going to measure 9 inch from the edge of my paper like this, and I'm also going to the center back and measure 9 inch like this. Okay, the next is my waist circumference. So my waist circumference divided by 4, I have 7.5. So I'm going to come here to input 7.5. Then I'm going to add 1 inch that allowance that we are going to take at the waist. So I'm also going to do the same at the center back. So I'm inputting 7.5 and 1 inch that allowance at the waist. So the next now is the hip circumference. So my hip is actually 40. 40 divided by 4, I have 10 inch. So I'm going to input 10 inch in the center front, and also input 10 inch at the center back. 10 inch at the center back. Alright, so the next thing we are going to do now is to connect these points. So I'm actually going to connect this point with my pattern master, like so. So I'm going to do the same thing to the center back. Okay. So the next thing we are going to do now is to get our armhole curve. So we are going to measure what we have here. We have 7.5, divide it by 2. So I'm actually getting the center of this line. So the center is given as this. Then from this point, you are actually going to come in by 0.5. Then you are going to connect it with a curved rule. So this will serve as your front armhole. So this will serve as your front armhole. Then in the case of the back, you are going to locate the center too. And you are just going to place your curve from this point to this point, and you are going to connect it like this. So after that, we are going to connect our neck curve. So like this, just place your curve and connect it like this. Then at the center back to connect your back neckline too, like this. Alright, so the next thing we are going to do now is to get our dart, but before then we are going to measure our bust radius. So our nipple to nipple divided by 2. In my own case, my nipple to nipple is 7 inch. So 7 inch divided by 2, I have 3.5. So I'm going to put in my nipple to nipple measurement at the chest line, at the waistline, and also at the hip line. So I'm going to connect it with my pattern master. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing at the center back. So I'm going to input my bust radius. So I'm going to connect it. Okay, so after that, we are going to input our dart. So you remember that we input 1 inch at the waistline for the dart allowance. So we are going to take that dart. So you measure 0.5 at each side of the dart. Then from the hip line, just come up by 2 inch. That is where your dart is going to stop. Then from the chest line, just come down by 1 inch. So that is actually where our dart is going to stop. Then you connect it like so. So we are going to do the same thing at the back. Just at the hip line, come up by 2 inch. Then you are also here, you don't have to come up, just connect your dart directly. Then also taking your 0.5 on each side of the dart, then just connect it. Okay, we have our dart now. Now for the side bust dart, just measure what you have from the chest line and the waistline. So we have 7.375. So we are going to divide it into 2. So we are actually locating the center of this line, guys. Then once we locate it, we are going to connect it to the bust point. So this is our bust point, or the apex line. Okay, so we are going to take ½ inch on each side of the line. Then we are also going to come out by 1 inch from the bust point. Then we are going to connect our dart like this. So you notice that once you take this will automatically shut. So we are coming here to add back our 1 inch. So just slant it this way. So that way when we take in our side bust, that our pattern won't short. Okay, so we are almost done, guys. Next thing we are going to do now is this is our zipper allowance. We are actually extending this line, our neckline. Okay, now for the zipper allowance, in order to eliminate the zip bulge, just come to this point, just come to your waistline, take in 1/2 inch. So taking 1/2 inch, we are just going to connect it back like so. And connect it back to the waistline like this. Then just like this and connect it back. That way we have eliminated our zip bulge. Right, guys, you can see that we are almost done with our pattern. You can see that our front pattern is here and our back pattern is here. I hope you guys find this explanation very simple. So the last thing we are going to do is to add seam allowance all around. So at the neckline we are adding 0.5 inch, at the shoulder slant 0.5 inch, at the armhole 0.5 inch, then at the side we are adding 1 inch, then at the hip line we are adding 1/2 inch. So that is what we are going to do basically. Also, okay, we've added our seam allowances in the neckline, shoulder slant, armhole, side seam, and we are almost done. We are going to cut it out. Alright guys, so we are done cutting it out, and this is how our basic body is looking so beautiful. So you can see the back bodice with the higher neckline and the front bodice with the lower neckline. So we are done. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. I hope you find this video very useful. Bye.